Stop. Breathe. Listen. Overthinking is stealing your time, your energy, and your life. Today you draw a line. This audiobook is a discipline, a system to shut down mental noise, build laser focus, and move decisively. You will learn how to cut loops, kill doubts, and act with clarity. No fluff. No theory without tools. You will train your mind to stop the spiral, start the action, and repeat until it becomes your identity. If you want a simpler, stronger, more deliberate life, this is your moment. Decide, commit, do, now. Chapter 1. End the spin. Name it, stop it, replace it. You're stuck because you're spinning. You're not moving forward. You're circling the same thought like a predator chasing its own tail. That's overthinking, and it's killing your momentum. Here's the truth. Overthinking thrives on vagueness. It feeds on uncertainty. It grows in the dark corners of your mind where nothing is named, nothing is clear, and everything feels bigger than it is. You have a choice, right now. You can keep spinning, or you can break the loop. How? 3 words. Name it, stop it, replace it. That's the key. That's the system. That's the discipline that ends the chaos. Step 1. Name it. The first weapon against overthinking is clarity. You can't fight what you can't see. So name the thought. Call it out. Put a label on it. What if I fail? Name it. Should I wait for the perfect timing? Name it. I'm not ready? Name it. These are not facts. They are thoughts. And thoughts are not orders. Thoughts are noise. Say it out loud. This is a thought, not a truth. Repeat it until it sinks in. Because when you name the loop, you shrink its power. You turn a monster into a mouse. Here's the pattern. Write the thought down. Circle it. Say, this is not a command. This is just a thought. That's the first strike. That's how you start dismantling the spiral. Step 2. Stop it. Once you name it, you interrupt it. You slam the brakes. You don't negotiate with it. You don't analyze it. You kill it. Overthinking wants you to debate. It wants you to argue. It wants you to stay in the loop. Don't give it that luxury. Here's what you do. Stand up. Clap your hands. Say out loud, stop. Yes, it sounds simple, but simplicity is power. Physical interruption breaks mental inertia. You have a choice. You can let the thought run wild, or you can stop it cold. Every time you interrupt the loop, you weaken its grip. Every time you say stop, you reclaim control. Repeat this. I control the thought. The thought does not control me. That's the key. That's the discipline. Step 3. Replace it. Stopping is not enough. You need a substitute. You need action. Because if you leave a vacuum, the loop will crawl back in. Replace the thought with a move. Not another thought, a move. Action kills overthinking. Here's the formula. Label, interrupt, insert action. Example, what if I fail? Go stop, send the email. Example, I'm not ready. Stop, draft the first bullet point. You don't need their permission. You don't need perfect timing. You need movement. Set a 2-minute timer, write the loop, cross it out, replace it with one action, any action, because action is clarity, action is confidence, action is freedom. Repeat this mantra. Thoughts aren't orders. Actions are decisions. Say it again. Thoughts aren't orders. Actions are decisions. Why this works? Your brain loves patterns. Right now, your pattern is spin. You break it by building a new one. Name it. Stop it. Replace it. Every time you run this sequence, you train your mind. You teach it that loops don't win. You teach it that clarity beats chaos. This is not theory. This is practice. This is discipline. Real-world example. You've got a project. Deadline is looming, but you're stuck in perfect timing mode. You're waiting for the stars to align. You're thinking, I'll start when I feel ready. Stop. Name it. This is a thought, not a fact. Interrupt it. Stop. Replace it. Open the document. Write the first sentence. That's it. That's the move. That's the difference between spinning and winning. Your tool, the 2-minute drill. Here's your ritual. When the loop starts, grab a pen, write the thought, cross it out, Write one action you can take in 2 minutes. Do it. This drill rewires your brain. It turns hesitation into execution. It makes action your default. Repeat this every day until it becomes automatic, because repetition is the mother of mastery. Your mantra. Say it with me. Thoughts aren't orders. Actions are decisions. Name it, stop it, replace it. I control the thought. The thought does not control me. Burn these into your mind, because when the spiral starts, you need weapons ready. The hard truth. Overthinking is not intelligence. It's fear dressed as logic. It's hesitation pretending to be strategy. You don't need more thinking. You need more doing. You don't need more certainty. You need more courage. It's not about perfection. It's about discipline. It's not about waiting. It's about moving. You have a choice right now. Stay in a spin or break the loop. Closing this chapter, you just learned the first strike against overthinking. Name it, stop it, replace it. This is your foundation. This is your weapon. Use it today. Use it every time the spiral starts, because clarity is not given, it's created. And you create it by acting. You mastered the loop. Now, let's talk about momentum, the force that turns small moves into unstoppable progress. Chapter 2, the 5-minute rule. Start small, finish momentum. You're waiting for the perfect moment. You're waiting for clarity. You're waiting for motivation. Stop waiting. Waiting is the enemy. Waiting is the disguise of fear. Here's the truth. Action kills anxiety. Movement destroys doubt. The fastest way to break the grip of overthinking is to start. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. And here's the system. The 5-minute rule. Commit to 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes of focused action. Because 5 minutes is enough to break inertia. 5 minutes is enough to create momentum. You have a choice. Sit in the spiral or start the clock. Why 5 minutes works. Your brain hates big. Big goals feel heavy. Big projects feel overwhelming. That's why you stall. That's why you spin. But 5 minutes? 5 minutes feels light. 5 minutes feels possible. And possible is powerful. When you shrink the task, you shrink the fear. When you shrink the fear, you move. That's the key. That's the discipline. The rule in action. Here's how it works. Pick one task. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Start. Not finish. Start. Because starting is the hardest part. Starting is the trigger. Starting is the win. Example. You've got an email backlog. It feels endless. You're drowning in messages. So you stall. You scroll. You spin. Stop. Pick one email. Set the timer. Reply. 5 minutes. Done. What happens next? Momentum. One email leads to 2. 2 leads to 10. Because action compounds. Repeat this mantra. 5 minutes or failure. Choose movement. The psychology behind it. Your brain rewards completion. Every time you finish a micro task, dopamine fires. That's motivation. That's energy. That's momentum. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need a full day. You need 5 minutes. Say it again. 5 minutes beats 0 minutes. Your ritual. The first 5. Here's your new morning discipline. Before you check messages, before you scroll, before you talk, do one 5-minute task. Write one paragraph. Make one call. Clear one item. This is your anchor. This is your identity. Because when you start strong, you stay strong. Repeat this. First 5. Every day. No excuses. Kill the excuses. I don't have time. Lie. You have 5 minutes. I'm not ready. Lie. Readiness is built through action. I need more clarity. Lie. Clarity comes after movement, not before. Excuses are noise. Discipline is signal. You have a choice. Listen to the noise or follow the signal. Real-world example. You've been delaying a proposal for 2 weeks. Why? Because you're waiting for the perfect structure. You're waiting for inspiration. Stop. Set the timer. 5 minutes. Draft 3 bullet points. That's it. What happens? You break the freeze. You create momentum. You turn "I'll start later" into "I started now." That's the key. That's the discipline. Your mantra. Say it with me. 5 minutes or failure. Choose movement. Start tiny. Finish strong. Momentum beats motivation. Burn these into your mind, because when the spiral starts, you need speed. The hard truth. You're not stuck because you lack time. You're stuck because you lack movement. You're not waiting for clarity. You're waiting for courage. It's not about perfect timing. It's about discipline starting. It's not about big wins. It's about small, relentless moves. You have a choice. Sit in the spin or start the clock. Closing this chapter, you just learned the second strike against overthinking, the 5-minute rule. This is your momentum machine. This is your antidote to paralysis. Use it today. Use it every morning. Because momentum is not magic. It's math. Small moves multiplied daily equal unstoppable progress. You mastered the start. Now, let's talk about clarity, the weapon that kills confusion before it starts. Chapter 3. Clarify the outcome. Decide what done looks like. Confusion is expensive. Ambiguity is a thief. It steals your time, your energy, your confidence. And here's the truth. Most overthinking doesn't come from complexity. It comes from vagueness. You don't know what done looks like. You don't know the finish line. So you spin, you hesitate, you stall. That ends now. The weapon against vagueness is clarity. The discipline is definition. You must decide what done looks like before you start. That's the key. That's the system. Why clarity matters. Your brain hates uncertainty. When the target is blurry, the mind panics. It starts asking, am I doing enough? Is this the right step? Should I wait? Those questions are poison. They keep you stuck in loops. But when the target is sharp, the mind moves. When the finish line is clear, the body acts. Repeat this. Clarity kills confusion. Definition drives decision. Define done before you begin. Here's the rule. Never start without a finish line. Never act without an outcome. Ask yourself, what does done look like? How will I know it's complete? What's the smallest measurable win? Example, write a proposal is vague. Draft 3 bullet points and send an outline to my manager by 3 p.m. is clear. That's the difference between spinning and shipping. The outcome card. Here's your tool. The outcome card. 3 lines. Done equals deliverable. By equals time. Proof equals evidence. Example, done equals outline with 3 sections. By equals today, 3 p.m. Proof, email sent to manager. This card kills ambiguity. It turns fog into focus. Repeat this mantra. Without a finish line, you cannot finish. Shrink the target. Big goals paralyze. Small goals mobilize. So shrink the target. Define the smallest actionable win. Example, instead of build the presentation, define, create title slide and agenda. That's your micro win. That's your momentum trigger. You have a choice. Chase big and freeze, or shrink small and move. Real-world example. You've been delaying a report for days. Why? Because write the report feels massive. It feels endless. Stop. Define done. Draft 3 key findings and send for review. That's it. That's the move. That's the discipline. When you define done, you destroy doubt. When you destroy doubt, you act. Your ritual, the clarity check. Before every task, run this check. What's the outcome? What's the deadline? What's the proof? Write it down. Say it out loud. Because clarity is not optional. Clarity is oxygen. Repeat this. Clarity first, action second. Kill the excuses. I'll figure it out as I go. Lie. That's chaos. I don't need to write it down. Lie. That's arrogance. I'll know when it feels right. Lie. Feelings are not finish lines. Excuses are noise. Clarity is signal. You have a choice. Listen to the noise or follow the signal. Your mantra. Say it with me. Clarity kills confusion. Define done before you begin. Without a finish line, you cannot finish. Burn these into your mind, because when the spiral starts, clarity is your sword. The hard truth. You're not stuck because the work is hard. You're stuck because the work is vague. You're not waiting for motivation. you're waiting for definition. It's not about talent, it's about clarity. It's not about speed, it's about precision. You have a choice. Stay in the fog or sharpen the target. Closing this chapter. You just learned the third strike against overthinking. Define what done looks like. This is your clarity weapon. This is your antidote to vagueness. Use it today. Use it for every task, because clarity is not given, it's created. And you create it by defining the finish line before you start. You mastered clarity. Now, let's talk about perfection, the myth that keeps you frozen and afraid. Chapter 4. Kill the myth of perfect. Ship at 80%. Perfection is a lie. It's a trap. It's the most seductive excuse in the world. And it's killing your progress. You tell yourself, I'll start when it's perfect. You tell yourself, I'll launch when it's flawless. That's the spin. That's the stall. That's the death of momentum. Here's the truth. Perfect is procrastination in disguise. Perfect is fear wearing a mask. Perfect is the enemy of done. You have a choice. Chase perfect and freeze, or ship at 80% and win. Why perfection paralyzes? Your brain loves certainty. Perfection promises certainty, but it's a lie. There is no perfect. There is only progress. When you chase perfect, you chase infinity. You chase something that doesn't exist. And while you chase, you waste. You waste time. You waste energy. You waste opportunity. Repeat this. Perfect is a prison. Done is freedom. The 80% rule. Here's the discipline. Ship at 80%. Not 50, not 30, 80. Why 80? Because 80 is strong enough to deliver value. 80 is fast enough to create momentum. 80 is the sweet spot between speed and quality. You don't need flawless. You need finished. You don't need applause. You need action. Say it again. Ship at 80. Improve later. The 2-date method. Here's your tool. 2 dates. Ship date. When you release the work at 80%. Polish date. When you refine and improve after feedback. Example, you're writing a report. Ship date, Wednesday, 3 p.m. Polish date, Friday, 10 a.m. This kills perfection paralysis. It forces movement. It creates accountability. Repeat this mantra. Ship now, polish later. Real-world example. You've been delaying a presentation for weeks. Why? Because you want it flawless. You want it bulletproof. Stop. Build the slides to 80%. Ship them to your team. Get feedback. Iterate. That's progress. That's momentum. That's leadership. You don't need their permission. You don't need perfect timing. You need movement. Why this works? Action creates clarity. Feedback creates improvement. Perfection creates paralysis. When you ship at 80, you learn faster. You adapt faster. You win faster. Repeat this. Done now beats perfect never. Your ritual, the 80% check. Before you stall, ask, is this good enough to deliver value? Is this strong enough to move forward? Can I improve later? If yes, ship it. No debate, no delay. Ship it. Repeat this. Ship at 80. Iterate after. Kill the excuses. I can't release it yet. It's not perfect. Lie. Perfect is a myth. They'll judge me. Lie. They'll judge your inaction more than your imperfection. I'll wait until I feel ready. Lie. Readiness is built through action. Excuses are noise. Discipline is signal. You have a choice. Listen to the noise or follow the signal. Your mantra, say it with me. Perfect is a prison. Done is freedom. Ship at 80. Improve later. Done now beats perfect never. Burn these into your mind, because when the spiral starts, perfection is the bait. Don't bite. The hard truth. You're not stuck because you lack talent. You're stuck because you worship perfect. You're not waiting for quality. You're waiting for certainty. It's not about flawless. It's about finished. It's not about applause. It's about action. You have a choice. Chase perfect and freeze. Or ship at 80 and win. Closing this chapter, you just learned the 4th strike against overthinking. Kill the myth of perfect. Ship at 80%. This is your freedom formula. This is your momentum machine. Use it today. Use it for every project, because perfect is not progress. Perfect is paralysis, and you're done with paralysis. You mastered the myth. Now let's talk about decisions, the discipline that separates leaders from loopers. Chapter 5. Decision discipline. Choose fast, correct slow. Indecision is a disease. It spreads, it infects your confidence, it kills your momentum. And here's the truth. Overthinking is just indecision in disguise. You tell yourself, I need more time. You tell yourself, I need more clarity. You tell yourself, I'll decide later. That's the spin. That's the stall. That's the death of progress. Here's the cure. Decision discipline. You have a choice. Decide fast when it's reversible. Decide slow when it's final. That's the key. That's the system. Why indecision destroys progress. Every time you delay a decision, you drain energy. You waste mental bandwidth. You create loops. Your brain starts asking, what if I choose wrong? What if there's a better option? What if I regret this? Those questions are poison. They keep you stuck in analysis paralysis. Repeat this. Decisions create movement. Delays create chaos. The two-bucket framework. Here's the discipline. Sort every decision into 2 buckets. Bucket 1, reversible decisions. These are low risk. You can change them later. Bucket 2, irreversible decisions. These are high impact, hard to undo. Rule. Bucket 1, decide fast. 60 seconds or less. Bucket 2, decide slow. Use a checklist. Example, choosing a meeting time. Bucket 1, decide in 30 seconds. Choosing a vendor for $1 million contract. Bucket 2, use criteria. Review. Decide deliberately. Repeat this mantra. Fast when reversible, slow when final. Why this works. Most decisions are reversible. Most choices are low risk, but you treat them like life or death. That's why you spin. That's why you stall. When you sort decisions, you shrink fear, you shrink complexity, you move. Say it again. Speed for small, precision for big. The 60-second rule. Here's your tool. For reversible decisions, set a timer. 60 seconds. Decide. Move. Example, which email to answer first. Decide in 10 seconds. Which font for the slide deck. Decide in 30 seconds. Stop wasting hours on choices that don't matter. Stop burning energy on details that won't change the outcome. Repeat this. 1 minute. 1 decision. Done. The checklist for big decisions. For irreversible decisions, use a checklist. What's the goal? What are the options? What's the risk? What's the fallback plan? Write it down. Review it. Decide. This kills fear. This kills guesswork. This creates confidence. Repeat this mantra. Structure beats stress. Real-world example. You've been delaying a software choice for weeks. Why? Because you're drowning in options. You're afraid of picking wrong. Stop. Sort it. Is this reversible? No. It's a big investment, so use the checklist. Define the goal. Compare features. Decide by Friday. That's discipline. That's leadership. That's progress. Kill the excuses. I need more research. Lie. You need more courage. I'll decide when I feel ready. Lie. Readiness comes after decision, not before. What if I regret it? Lie. Regret is a choice, not a destiny. Excuses are noise. Discipline is signal. You have a choice. Listen to the noise or follow the signal. Your mantra. Say it with me. Fast when reversible. Slow when final. 1 minute. 1 decision. Done. Structure beats stress. Burn these into your mind, because when the spiral starts, indecision is the bait. Don't bite. The hard truth. You're not stuck because you lack options. You're stuck because you lack discipline. You're not waiting for clarity. You're waiting for courage. It's not about perfect choices. It's about timely choices. It's not about avoiding mistakes. It's about correcting fast. You have a choice. Decide now or stay stuck forever. Closing this chapter, you just learned the 5th strike against overthinking. Decision discipline. Sort decisions. Choose fast when reversible. Choose slow when final. This is your clarity engine. This is your confidence builder. Because indecision is not strategy. Indecision is surrender. And you're done surrendering. You mastered decisions. Now, let's talk about constraints, the power tool that cuts noise and builds focus. Chapter 6. Constraint Power. Use time, tools, and targets. Chaos kills clarity. Distraction destroys discipline. And here's the truth. Most overthinking doesn't come from lack of intelligence. It comes from lack of constraints. You're drowning in options. You're juggling too many tools. You're chasing too many targets. That's why you spin. That's why you stall. Here's the fix. Constraint power. You have a choice. Live in chaos or build a cage for your focus. That's the key. That's the discipline. Why constraints create freedom. Your brain loves boundaries. Boundaries reduce noise. Boundaries create clarity. When everything is possible, nothing gets done. When everything is open, your mind panics. It starts asking, should I start here or there? Which tool should I use? What's the priority? Those questions are poison. They keep you stuck in loops. Repeat this. Constraints are not limits. Constraints are power. The 3C framework. Here's the discipline. 3 constraints. Clock, time block, container, tool limit, core, single target. Example. Clock, 50-minute deep work block. Container, 1 document open. Core, finish section A. That's it. That's the cage. That's the clarity. Repeat this mantra. 1 block, 1 tool, 1 target. Why this works? Constraints kill decision fatigue. They kill distraction. They kill chaos. When you set boundaries, you shrink the battlefield. You shrink the noise. You shrink the spin. Say it again. Freedom lives inside structure. Step 1. Clock. Time block discipline. Pick a block. Protect it. No interruptions, no toggling, no excuses. Example. 50 minutes for writing. Timer on. Phone off. Notifications dead. This is your fortress. This is your power zone. Repeat this. Time blocks build momentum. Step 2. Container. Tool limit discipline. Stop drowning in tabs. Stop juggling apps. Pick 1 tool. Stick to it. Example. Writing, 1 document. Research, 1 browser tab. Every extra tool is an extra distraction. Every extra tab is an extra loop. Repeat this. 1 container. Full focus. Step 3. Core. Single target discipline. Multitasking is a myth. It's self-sabotage. It's the illusion of progress. Pick 1 target. Finish it. Then move. Example. Draft section A is a target. Work on the report is a fog. Repeat this mantra. 1 target, 1 win. Real-world example. You're building a presentation, but you've got 12 tabs open. You're checking email. You're scrolling messages. You're spinning. Stop. Clock. 50 minutes. Container. 1 slide deck. Core. Finish the intro section. That's the cage. That's the clarity. That's the win. Your ritual. The constraint setup. Before every work block, set the clock. Close the noise. Define the core. Write it down. Say it out loud. Because structure is not optional. Structure is oxygen. Repeat this. Structure beats chaos. Every time. Kill the excuses. I work better with flexibility. Lie. Flexibility is code for distraction. I need all my tools open. Lie. You need 1 tool and discipline. I can multitask. Lie. Multitasking is mental suicide. Excuses are noise. Constraints are signal. You have a choice. Listen to the noise or follow the signal. Your mantra. Say it with me. 1 block, 1 tool, 1 target. Structure beats chaos. Freedom lives inside structure. Burn these into your mind. Because when the spiral starts, constraints are your sword. The hard truth. You're not stuck because you lack time. You're stuck because you waste time. You're not drowning because of complexity. You're drowning because of chaos. It's not about more hours. It's about more structure. It's not about more tools. It's about fewer distractions. You have a choice. Live in chaos or build the cage. Closing this chapter, you just learned the 6th strike against overthinking. Constraint power. Use time blocks. Limit tools. Focus on 1 target. This is your clarity engine. This is your productivity weapon. Because chaos is not freedom. Chaos is failure. And you're done failing. You mastered constraints. Now, let's talk about truth. The truth that feelings lie and data wins. Chapter 7. Evidence over emotion. Run the data, not the drama. Feelings lie. Drama deceives. And here's the truth. If you let emotions drive decisions, you will stay stuck. You tell yourself, I feel behind. You tell yourself, I feel like I'm failing. You tell yourself, I feel like I'm not ready. Those feelings, they're not facts. They're noise. Here's the discipline. Run the data, not the drama. You have a choice. Live in feelings or live in evidence. That's the key. That's the system. Why feelings fail you. Feelings fluctuate. They change with sleep, with stress, with weather. They are not reliable indicators of progress. Your brain says, I feel tired, so I'm not productive. I feel anxious, so I'm failing. I feel stuck, so nothing is working. Those statements are poison. They keep you spinning. They keep you blind to reality. Repeat this. Feelings are indicators, not directives. The power of data. Data doesn't lie. Data doesn't panic. Data doesn't spiral. When you measure, you see truth. When you track, you see progress. When you see progress, you move. Say it again. Measure, learn, move. Your 2 metrics. Here's the discipline. Track 2 metrics for every goal. Input metric, what you control. Example, calls made, emails sent, pages written. Output metric, what you influence. Example, deals closed, responses received, chapters finished. Why 2? Because input shows effort. Output shows impact. Together, they kill guesswork. Repeat this mantra. Track input. Track output. Kill the drama. The weekly scorecard. Here's your tool, the weekly scorecard. Write your goal. Log your input metric daily. Log your output metric weekly. Make one adjustment every Friday. Example, goal, finish a book draft. Input, words written per day. Output, chapters completed per week. This is clarity. This is control. This is confidence. Why this works? Data creates objectivity. Objectivity kills overthinking. When you see numbers, you stop guessing. You stop spiraling. You stop saying, I feel like I'm failing. Because feelings are fog. Data is light. Repeat this. Data wins, drama ends. Real-world example. You're building a business. You feel like nothing is working. You feel like you're stuck. Stop. Pull the numbers. Input, 50 calls made this week. Output, 5 new clients. That's progress. That's proof. That's reality. Feelings said failure. Data said growth. Which will you trust? Kill the excuses. I'm not a numbers person. Lie. You're a progress person. Tracking takes too much time. Lie. Guessing takes more. I'll just go by how I feel. Lie. Feelings are fraud. Excuses are noise. Evidence is signal. You have a choice. Listen to the noise or follow the signal. Your mantra. Say it with me. Run the data, not the drama. Measure, learn, move. Data wins, drama ends. Burn these into your mind, because when the spiral starts, feelings will scream. Silence them with numbers. The hard truth. You're not stuck because you lack progress. You're stuck because you lack proof. You're not failing. You're guessing. It's not about emotion. It's about evidence. It's not about panic. It's about patterns. You have a choice. Live in feelings or live in facts. Closing this chapter, you just learned the 7th strike against overthinking. Evidence over emotion. Track input. Track output. Kill the drama. This is your truth weapon. This is your confidence engine. Because feelings are not facts. Numbers are, and numbers win. You mastered evidence. Now let's talk about prevention. The rituals that block the spiral before it starts. Chapter 8. Build anti-loops. Rituals that block spiral thinking. Overthinking doesn't just happen. It creeps in. It sneaks through cracks in your day. And here's the truth. If you don't build defenses, the spiral will win. You tell yourself, I'll handle it when it comes. Wrong. That's weakness. That's surrender. You don't wait for the spiral. You prevent it. Here's the discipline. Build anti-loops. You have a choice. React to chaos or design control. That's the key. That's the system. Why rituals matter. Your brain loves patterns. Right now, your pattern is drift. You wake up, you scroll, you stall. That's why you spin. Rituals flip the script. Rituals create anchors. Rituals kill randomness. Repeat this. Rituals remove resistance. The 3 rituals. Here's the discipline. 3 rituals to block the spiral. Startup ritual, how you begin the day. Shutdown ritual, how you end the day. Reset ritual, how you recover when chaos hits. These are your shields. These are your weapons. Startup ritual, the first 3 moves. Your morning sets your momentum. If you start scattered, you stay scattered. Here's the rule. 3 moves before anything else. Move 1, hydrate. Move 2, 10-minute focus block. Move 3, 1 micro win. Example, drink water. Sit down. Write 1 paragraph. That's it. That's the anchor. Repeat this mantra. Start strong. Stay strong. Shutdown ritual. Close the loops. Your evening sets your clarity. If you end messy, you start messy tomorrow. Here's the rule. 3 steps before you log off. Step 1, inbox to 0. Step 2, define tomorrow's top 1. Step 3, power down. No screens for 30 minutes. This kills mental clutter. This kills late-night spirals. Repeat this. Close the day. Clear the mind. Reset ritual. The triangle. Chaos will hit. Distractions will attack. You will spiral. So build a reset. Here's the triangle. Move body. Stand, stretch, walk. Breathe box. 4-4-4-4 pattern. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Act small. 1 micro task, 2 minutes. This resets your system. This kills the loop. Repeat this mantra. Reset fast, return faster. Why this works? Rituals automate discipline. They remove choice. They remove friction. When you ritualize, you don't think. You act. And action kills overthinking. Say it again. Rituals beat randomness. Real-world example. You wake up, you grab your phone, you scroll for 30 minutes. You feel behind. You spiral. Stop. Startup ritual. Hydrate. 10-minute focus block. 1 micro win. Done. That's control. That's clarity. That's momentum. Kill the excuses. I don't have time for rituals. Lie. You have time for chaos? I'll just wing it. Lie. Winging it is losing it. I don't need structure. Lie. You need structure more than you need motivation. Excuses are noise. Rituals are signal. You have a choice. Listen to the noise or follow the signal. Your mantra. Say it with me. Rituals remove resistance. Start strong. Stay strong. Reset fast. Return faster. Burn these into your mind. Because when the spiral starts, rituals are your armor. The hard truth. You're not stuck because you lack time. You're stuck because you lack systems. You're not drowning because of complexity. You're drowning because of randomness. It's not about motivation. It's about automation. It's not about willpower. It's about structure. You have a choice. React to chaos or design control. Closing this chapter, you just learned the 8th strike against overthinking. Build anti-loops. Startup, shutdown, and reset rituals. This is your prevention system. This is your clarity shield. Because chaos is not inevitable. Chaos is a choice. And you're done choosing chaos. You mastered prevention. Now, let's talk about power. The power of attention and the discipline of single tasking. Chapter 9. Train your attention. Single task as a superpower. Distraction is the new disease. Multitasking is the new myth. And here's the truth. Every time you split your attention, you split your power. You tell yourself, I can handle multiple things at once. Wrong. That's self-sabotage. That's the illusion of progress. Here's the discipline. Single tasking. 1 task. Full presence. No toggling. No chaos. You have a choice. Scatter your focus and stay stuck, or lock in and finish. That's the key. That's the system. Why multitasking fails. Your brain is not a computer. It doesn't run parallel programs. It switches, and every switch costs time. Every switch costs energy. Every switch kills momentum. You think you're efficient? You're not. You're bleeding focus. You're burning clarity. You're wasting life. Repeat this. Multitasking is mental suicide. The power of single tasking. When you lock in, you finish faster. When you lock in, you finish better. When you lock in, you feel calm. Single tasking is not weakness. It's a superpower. It's the discipline that separates achievers from amateurs. Say it again. One task, full presence. The 25-minute focus block. Here's your tool. The focus block. Pick one task. Set a timer for 25 minutes. Kill all distractions. Work. No notifications. No tabs. No toggling. Just one task. Example, writing a report? Full screen the document. Phone in another room. Timer on. Repeat this mantra. Focused work. Finished work. The presence score. Here's the discipline. After every block, score your presence from 1 to 5. 1 equals scattered. 5 equals laser focused. Why? Because what gets measured gets mastered. Presence is a skill. You train it by tracking it. Repeat this. Measure focus. Build focus. Why this works? Single tasking kills cognitive load. It kills mental clutter. It kills stress. When you focus, you finish. When you finish, you feel strong. When you feel strong, you move faster. Say it again. Focus is freedom. Real-world example. You're building a presentation, but you're checking email, you're scrolling messages, you're toggling tabs, you're spinning. Stop. Pick one slide. Set the timer. 25 minutes. Full screen. No interruptions. That's clarity. That's control. That's progress. Kill the excuses. I work better multitasking. Lie. You work worse multitasking. I can't ignore notifications. Lie. You can. You just won't. I'll lose time if I focus on one thing. Lie. You lose time every time you switch. Excuses are noise. Focus is signal. You have a choice. Listen to the noise or follow the signal. Your mantra. Say it with me. One task, full presence. Focused work, finished work. Focus is freedom. Burn these into your mind, because when the spiral starts, distraction is the bait. Don't bite. The hard truth. You're not stuck because you lack time. You're stuck because you waste attention. You're not drowning because of complexity. You're drowning because of chaos. It's not about more hours. It's about more focus. It's not about more effort. It's about more presence. You have a choice. Scatter your mind or sharpen it. Closing this chapter, you just learned the 9th strike against overthinking. Train your attention. Single tasking is your superpower. This is your clarity engine. This is your productivity weapon. Because multitasking is not mastery. Multitasking is misery, and you're done with misery. You mastered attention. Now let's talk about identity, the ultimate lock that makes action your default. Chapter 10, Identity Lock. Become the person who acts. Habits matter. Systems matter. But here's the truth. Identity beats both. You tell yourself, I'm an overthinker. You tell yourself, I'm indecisive. You tell yourself, I'm not the kind of person who moves fast. Every time you say that, you reinforce the spiral. Identity drives behavior. If you see yourself as someone who hesitates, you will hesitate. If you see yourself as someone who acts, you will act. Here's the discipline. Lock in the identity of a doer. You have a choice. Stay stuck in the old story or write a new one. That's the key. That's the system. Why identity wins. Behavior follows belief. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your identity. If your identity says, I'm cautious, you'll stall. If your identity says, I'm decisive, you'll move. Repeat this. I act, I finish, I lead. The identity shift. Here's the rule. Stop saying what you are. Start saying what you choose to be. Replace, I'm an overthinker. Replace, I decide with clarity. I'm indecisive, I choose fast and correct slow. I'm not ready, I start now. Words matter. Words program your brain. Words lock your identity. Say it out loud. I am the person who acts. Your identity statements. Here's your tool. 3 statements. Write them, repeat them. live them. I start now. I ship at 80%. I measure progress, not feelings. These are not affirmations. These are commands. These are commitments. Repeat this mantra. Identity drives action. Why this works. When you lock identity, you remove debate. You remove hesitation. You remove loops. You don't ask, should I act? You act because that's who you are. Say it again. Acting is my default. The daily log. Here's your discipline. Track identity consistent wins. Every day, write one action that proves your identity. Example, I sent the proposal without waiting for perfect. Log it. I made a decision in 60 seconds. Log it. This builds evidence. Evidence reinforces identity. Identity drives behavior. Repeat this. Prove it daily. Lock it permanently. Real-world example. You've been delaying a call for days. Why? Because you think, I'm not ready. Stop. Identity shift. I'm the person who acts. Dial the number. Make the call. Log the win. That's clarity. That's confidence. That's transformation. Kill the excuses. I've always been this way. Lie. Identity is not fixed. I can't change overnight. Lie. Change starts with one choice. I'll wait until I feel like that person. Lie. Feelings follow action, not the other way around. Excuses are noise. Identity is signal. You have a choice. Listen to the noise or follow the signal. Your mantra. Say it with me. I act. I finish. I lead. Acting is my default. Identity drives action. Burn these into your mind, because when the spiral starts, identity is your shield. The hard truth. You're not stuck because you lack tools. You're stuck because you lack identity. You're not failing because of systems. You're failing because of self-image. It's not about habits. It's about who you believe you are. It's not about goals. It's about identity. You have a choice. Stay stuck in the old story or write a new one. Closing this chapter. You just learned the 10th strike against overthinking. Identity lock. Become the person who acts. This is your ultimate weapon. This is your permanent transformation. Because habits can break, systems can fail. But identity? Identity sticks. And when your identity says, I act, you win forever. You mastered identity. Now, let's close this book with one final challenge. The challenge that turns knowledge into power. Closing. Your 7-day action challenge. You came here to end the mental spin. You learned to name the loop, stop the loop, and replace it with action. You trained 5-minute momentum. You defined done before starting. You killed perfection and shipped at 80%. You sorted decisions, fast when reversible, precise when final. You used constraints to cut noise. One block, one tool, one target. You replaced drama with data. You built rituals that keep you moving. You trained attention, one task, full presence. And you locked in an identity. I act, I finish, I lead. This is not theory. This is your operating system. Every day, choose one action in 5 minutes. Define done. Ship at 80. Measure 2 metrics. Protect your focus. Repeat the mantra. Name it, stop it, replace it, then move. Here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, complete one meaningful deliverable every morning before checking messages. No exceptions. Log it. Score your presence. Iterate. At the end of the week, decide who you are becoming and make it permanent. Stop overthinking. Start deciding. Do it now.